All right. Big round of applause for the Care Miles team. Have you guys seen them at their booth? Awesome. All
Thank
right.
you.
Welcome. Welcome. Kashif, you have lived and worked in like all over the planet. South Asia, Middle East, Africa, North America. Where have you not been?
I haven't been to Japan yet, and one day hopefully we'll
Yeah.
there as well.
And your professional background is actually payments and consumer banking, which is very interesting. You have worked with several global brands. You quit your job at Mastercard. That was pretty silly of you to start this thing called Care Miles. You love hard rock,
I do.
collecting guitars, and everything about electric cars.
I do. Thank you. Thank you for the intro. That's pretty detailed.
And Rai, battle hardened startup veteran, technologist with over 20 years of experience in B2C, B2B, leading product development and scaling up platforms. You love food, skiing, and travel?
That's right. Those are my three vices.
Yes, I have to admit, I'm right there with you. And fun fact for everybody, these two gentlemen just met for the very first time in person at this event. And this is the power of remote working.
Yeah, that's what happens when you start a company and the community in COVID times, right? The pandemic. So
That's
there
right.
we have it. Yeah.
That's right.
I must add to that. It's funny. When we first began, we had those big ambitions. Had no idea how it's gonna pan out. And a year later, here we are with 10,000 trees into the ground already as of yesterday. So thank you to
Woo!
everyone who's made that possible.
That is amazing.
Our goal is to get up to 100 million trees within the next 3 years. Very, very aggressive. We'll talk more about it.
That's right. So let's start at the beginning then. Gosh, if you had the idea for Care Miles, and I love the story that you told. Can you share it with the audience?
Okay, short form of that. So it's about a year ago. I was charging my Tesla, bored flicking through my YouTube videos, and I came across this company who plants trees in Africa, and I had this moment of awe that how did I get so insensitive to all this, where I was complaining on why when is my free charging going to end so I can get home, and I get across that. So fast forward. It really has changed my life. A year, a few weeks later, I had quit my job of many years. I sold my house and moved to California to do this. And yeah, here we are.
That's a wonderful story. I think all of us have that problem, right? We're charging our cars. We don't know how to kill the time. Well, start a new company. That's the answer.
Yeah, and I would like to add to what Kashif said. So when Kashif brought the vision, we met. So it was pretty clear, the type of planet I have inherited and the type of planet I want to leave for my two young girls, right? So what is it that we wanted to do together? So I'm proud to say and very pleased our baby step number one, which is to essentially understand, make the climate impact be understandable and be available to our consumers. That's already in play. And Kashif already mentioned we have planted 10,000 trees as of last month.
Yeah. So what fascinates me is that, the EV in itself is already a good step for the planet. So obviously that wasn't quite good enough for you, right? So how did you think of the connection between planting trees and the driving your car?
That's a very good question. And look, most of the climate conversations that we hear about throw guilt and fear at us. 9 out of 10 show you dying planet, dying sad images, and appeal to your donations. Hey, shame on you! Can't you give me $5 a month? And shame on you! You're not recycling. It's your problem. We don't want to do that because look at where the world is. Last 3 decades, we've been doing the same thing, and we're making the problem worse. So, how to break that cycle of lecturing? We recognize two things. People don't really understand what we're trying to solve. So, trees as a unit of currency is helping people understand. So, I just had this chat with somebody earlier today. We said, "Do you agree planet should be we should do something about the global warming?" And the guy says yes. And I said, "Do you agree trees are good for the planet?" The guy says yes. He said, "That's it. So if you drive an EV, you are saving trees If you're driving a gas car, you need to plant trees. And that's the conversation that we have. Every tree you save, we plant one for you, where a real tree actually goes into the ground, where you become the agent of changing somebody's life, where you become the agent of changing a farmer's family's income and their eating habits, their food access. So, yeah.
So how does it actually work? Is it really that simple? Like I download the app and then it connects with the car? How does it work?
Yeah, I can take that. So yeah, so Brigitte, the app's simple, right? It's all about empowering the EV users to make it easy and rewarding, as you said, giving them free trees that they're earning through their good behavior. So the app essentially connects to your car. We use industry-leading security and private mechanisms to connect to your car. There's a very well-known third-party API. We connect to about 40 brands. Tesla is one of the big ones, of course. But Tesla is being out there, and essentially what we're reading is your odometer and the way you drive your car during that month. Both of these things, along with our deep knowledge of the car's profile and how much carbon it's saving or emitting, depending on the type of car, we're able to calculate it back to a very simple measure, as Kashif said, a tree. So you either need 7 trees, 5 trees, 20 trees, depending on how much you drive, or you're saving 25 or 7 trees. And that takes you to the next level. Again, we're trying to involve you in that change. It's not a charity, it's all about behavior. If you don't drive that car and you take your ICE car out, a gas car, you're not doing that. So that's what we want to reward more of, you know.
And so how do you decide what part of the world you're going to put trees in?
Oh, good question. Where it matters most scientifically. It's not about geographic or any other kind of debate, because we've been thrown those questions. Why can't you plant in America? Why do you want to plant trees in Africa, etc.? So one is it's science based, where the world needs most. We support 18 projects globally. Happy to go in details, but they vary in intensity and purpose. So our project in Amazon forest is very different from our project in Australia. So different parts, types of trees, etc. So happy to engage more, but there are two main channels. We work with something called Priceless Planet Coalition, where we're looking to plant 100 million trees, or Trees for Africa, where we trees for the future, where we're planting in sub-Saharan Africa.
The Prices Planet Coalition was with MasterCard, right?
Yes, it is. It's an interesting coalition. It's a collection of about 100 companies globally, include Citibank, American Airlines, Dubai Expo. We're one of those partners, and this coalition is coming together to have this super aggressive, almost unreal target of 100 million trees being restored or planted in the by 2025. The essential idea is technology like ours, simplified messaging like trees, can it lead to a larger global impact, which we hope to achieve with this coalition.
Got it. I understand we have a video that we can show about Care Miles, right? Okay. You want to play the video?
Here's a quick guide to
Yep,
Care Miles.
okay, get out of the way.
We'll get out of the way so you guys can
Climate
see.
change. Download the app and connect to your vehicle account by entering the vehicle registration number or the vehicle identification number. Once connected, the app calculates and displays the vehicle's climate impact using EPA standards. But we don't like to show off our science skills. Instead, we show that impact in terms of trees. Now it's super easy to measure your car's impact. How many trees you've saved by driving your EV around or may consider planting to mitigate the impact of your awesome gas car. You now have the power to plant trees and mitigate your impact right from your phone. And you don't just plant trees, you directly impact the lives of farmer families. The new Teams feature helps you join forces with friends, family, coworkers, social clubs, etc., where all individual and team contributions results are gathered. Teams can even compete to save the environment. High five to teamwork! Imagine the possibilities of what we can do together. A clean future is within our reach. Let's join hands and drive real change. Download Care Miles app today or learn more at caremiles.app.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Gonna
Beautiful.
come back, Ash?
Yeah, we're not going away yet. We're not done. So, whenever you do a startup, right? There's always that that talk about, oh, it's so challenging, and you've got all these things that you've got to deal with. So, for you guys, what has been the biggest challenge you think?
So our biggest challenge has been a realization, a hard realization that you don't get people to respond to climate change because although we all agree that it's real and urgent, it's too far off. 20 years later, it's going to be really bad, so I need to do something different today. That's a very hard conversation to have. So, quick realization of that has helped us reposition our thinking and has really helped. So, simplification of message in terms of trees has really helped. So,
So, okay, if I'm an EV driver, I think that's an easy sell, right? Because I'm already driving my car. Sure, I'll plant more trees. How are you gonna How are you gonna go outside that choir and get more people on board?
Yeah, so I think I'll add to what Kashif was saying earlier. So we have realized that just apathy or care for the environment is not good enough to get billions of people doing the right thing, right? We're still stuck to our fossil fuel ways, and no blame on people or judging. It's just hard. So what do they need? Sometimes people need financial incentives. Sometimes people need other nudges. So we're working with our behavioral scientist on staff. She's out of Cambridge, and we have figured out ways of how to bring additional points or of incentivization to our platform, so people can go to it and can go to it in masses. Because driving real change, will really come when we have the masses behind us. So I think, do you want to
yeah,
add to that, Kashav?
yeah, and simply put, look, it has to make financial sense. There are certain product features that we're going to be rolling out soon. Without saying much, we believe that vehicle charging should be free for everyone, everywhere. And that's our mission. And with that free charging, and it's not just about whether you're charging at home or you're charging at your employer, we're talking about every electric vehicle around the world, especially in the US. So once you get to that financial incentive, that's when you get the masses to move. Why would you want to pay your gas prices while you can get a much better car, much better machine, free to use, free to cost, and change lives? So that's what the mission is.
You guys talk to Harry from EV Energy. It looks like you need to team up.
Teaming up is what we're looking to do all the time. It'll have to take a village to make to change this world.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, one of the craziest parts about this whole experience, this whole uh, ecosystem of EVs and charging, is the fact that we're so used to fossil fuels costing so much money, right? It costs so much to extract them. It costs so much. It's the cost is not just financial. It's our health, our planet. I mean, we're basically in an existential crisis here. And so now we're trying to claw some of that back and say, hey, these are huge systemic issues that are really very hard to wrap your brain around. Like if you have to get up in the morning, you have to go to work, you have these very mundane things. In a way, you guys fit into that picture by just making it real. Like I don't even have to think about what I'm doing. As long as I drive, you guys will do your little part.
That's what the goal is. Yeah. Thank you for making it sound so simple.
Yeah, and I think I would like to add, technology plays a lot of role in this. The cars are connected means they have internet SIMs in them. They're transmitting data back. So our technology doesn't rely on you starting the phone, shutting the phone, starting your car, shutting your car. Doesn't rely on any privacy invasive features or some other apps out there. For all the right intentions, they want to track your spending, for example, or want to find out where you are at a certain stage. So we don't do any of that. So we're just simply connecting to your car, reading its odometer and certain profile data, so like battery levels, just to figure out how the profile looks and the exact number of trees. We take a lot of pride and a lot of science to figure that out. But that's step one, right? To figure that out. And then we'll build from that. As Kashif said, on the right behavior, we want to incentivize you to even maybe free charge for, no matter where you are.
Yeah. And what's the financial model for you guys? I mean, how do you guys make money?
Publicly, um, we make we make a lot of money. So it's not clearly a charity, but that money is made from a network effect where the vehicle owner is connected with the world who wants to connect with that vehicle owner, and there are certain revenue models that we foresee at the back. As an example, would be, hey Bridget, there's certain insurance company that wants to give you a good offer. This is what they're offering. Are you willing to talk to them? If you say yes, only then that offer gets exposed to you. They don't get your data. So we're trying to get some data privacy and respect and privacy back into consumers' hands and do the right thing by not selling your data stuff out. So that's our revenue model simply. There's a lot of money to be made, but there's a very long journey to it. Our first few years is pure investment into trees and getting people to understand this metric as a measure.
Gotcha. So speaking of the future, what's next? Where do you see yourselves down, 3 to 5 years from now?
3 to 5 years from now, we definitely um, see ourselves expanding globally. As I said, we've got 100, million trees to be planted. So our next focus region is Europe. They are much more advanced in the whole EV revolution space, and plus Europe is the second biggest polluter while the world is going to shits, right? So we are focused on US as our first market, Europe, and then the rest of the world. So plan is definitely to go global. Within the next 3 to 5 years, we expect to be um, the single-minded uh, no-brainer app for every EV owner out there.
And so, what about getting the app sort of, pre-packaged in an EV?
Oh yeah, you want to take that?
Yeah, so we started in talks with OEMs, so we can get our so not only in so there are a couple of ways. So we want to expand what we're trying to do. So there's a consumer direct to consumer. The other go to market motions are, what if your car had a profile and not you as a owner, and your car told you how sustainable it has been, as well as what sort of rewards it has gained. So it's a different way of looking at it. So your car almost becomes like an asset that we connect to, again using the same mechanics, but then it comes preloaded. That means there's not even 3 steps to download the app, right, or connect your car. It's there. You switch it on, you're ready to go, just like many other apps out there. So that's one of the ways. The other way is how we're trying to get into workforce. As you know, companies today have sustainability goals, ESG goals. So in the next year or so, we want to expand on that footprint. How companies can get in. Why aren't they rewarding their employees for good behavior? If folks are saving, trees, why not reward that through them, right? And so we are trying to look at all the avenues. Obviously, as Kashif said, it takes a village to, run this properly. We need to change behavior and fast, right? So that's whatever it takes to go there. We're investigating. We're trying to get good advisors on board. We're a young company with a big mission, but we will make it happen.
I can't help but think, when people used to smoke a lot, right? And now it's kind of like, I don't know, if I see someone smoking, I'm going, wait, that person's stuck in the 1980s. They're still smoking. And then the companies, the employers would come out with these healthcare programs. So it wasn't after the fact, it was proactive. In other words, if you guys join our healthcare package and you walk or you do push ups or whatever, you get points. What you guys are doing, you're doing this for the EV, the same thing that they're doing for the human body. So whatever body is in motion, whether it's my human body or your automotive body, we're doing something good for the planet.
That is true. That is true.
Very nice analogy. That is exactly what it is, and it won't be long. Just like smoking has become prior, in our society. I think not using fossil fuels, especially for consumer-based transportation in the near future, will become prior.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully 20 years from now, the few ice cars that we'll be seeing, we're like, oh, that's from like 2020 or something.
Using pieces.
I don't want to throw a stat here, but for the few minds that want to ponder, the goal for the world to avoid catastrophe based on the climate scientists by the year 2050, the world should not have any more gas vehicles on the road. It's such unrealistic, impractical stat, but it just brings to bear the enormity of what we're dealing with. So it takes a village. Join hands and drive real change, please.
Exactly. All right, last word, inspirational quote that you guys live by. Want to share?
We talk about two things that we've discovered so far. Climate change is caused by two things: human activity, which is essential for human progress, and human inaction. We don't just do enough to do what's needed for our planet to survive. So it's the human inaction that we're trying to change. We remind ourselves on almost a daily basis, how do you remove inaction from our systems?
That's what we're all about, driving real change. Thank you.
Excellent. Wonderful. Well, you guys are the cherry on top of the cake. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Give it up for Care Miles. Stop by their booth, load up that app, plant
Please
trees.
do. Thank you.